Good evening, everyone, online and in chapel. Just want to say thank you for joining us. Our online persons responding a little bit because this was not supposed to be streamed. But we want to say thank you for joining us. I am Shauna Malcolm, First Vice President in charge of young adults here at the Kingston and St. Andrew Baptist Association Youth Arm. And our aim for this financial fitness series is to encourage our young adults to be better with their financial lives, that their financial story is a lot better than what we're seeing now, that we're not depressed by our finances and that we believe in kingdom wealth. So we know that, as good stewards, we are coming together to learn. So I hope that those who are here now and those who are online will probably say, no, Sam, I don't want to watch this online. I'm going to hurry up and come to Mambe Park Baptist. And those who are here know that our next session, you'll bring a friend to fill up and spread the word because our financial fitness is very important. So with us today is Orlando Maynard from VM Building Society. And Orlando is going to talk to us on budgeting and saving. But before we get into the meat of the matter, let us open with a word of prayer. Lord, we just want to say thank you. Thank you for the opportunity for us to fellowship, for us to learn, and for us to spend time with each other. God, as we get ready to be financially fit, that this is just a stepping stone to what is to come. And that even as we go through the other aspects of the series, that persons will be drawn in, and this will be the birth of a financial discipleship ministry, that we will be so charged up from what we've learned that we want to spread the word, that we want to improve our lives, and we want to teach people all that we have learned and encourage them to be financially fit. So as you take control of the proceedings for this evening and those to come for Kingston and St. Andrew Baptist Association Youth Arm, we give it all to you, God, and we give you glory, and we say thank you in advance. In your name I pray, amen. So before Orlando comes, just a quick reminder that this is session 1. Next week we'll be at Barbican Baptist and we'll be presented to by Mrs. Paige Golding on investing. Paige is from NCB Cap Market, so she will be with us next week. And the series continues with Good Debt versus Bad Debt, Home and Home Ownership, which is April 13th and April 20th. We will be closing out the series on retirement planning. And we also want to encourage everyone to join us on the 15th of March for our Zone 2 Games Night. This will be at Boulevard Baptist. And when we say Zone 2, that is Kingston and St. Andrew, as well as St. Catherine. And we promise that every session that you come to and be a part of, it will be a promise to be a memorable one and an informative one, and you will be blessed. So help me welcome our presenter for today, Orlando Maynard.
Good afternoon, everyone. where one and two are gathered, we are going to speak. Good afternoon. How many persons are online? Can you say? Are they hearing me? Good afternoon, online community. Give me an emoji if you're hearing me clearly. Am I getting those? Anything? All right, great. Again, my name is Orlando Maynard. I am from the Victoria Mutual Group, which has different entities, and I am specifically from the Victoria Mutual Building Society. Is anybody familiar with VMBS? Talk to me. Great. So I'm from VMBS, and today, first of all, thank you for the opportunity to come and speak with you so we can share how the VM Group can add value to you pursuing your financial goals or add value to your financial portfolio. Today, we will be discussing, anybody know what the topic is? Miss Reed is at the front, so you know what? She's gonna get picked on. And today it's more of a conversation that we're initiating in order to, when we move forward, we can create a personal financial path for each person. Because at this moment, what we can do is give you general information, but because each person's financial situation is specific and different, it means that your financial plan and your financial path would also be different. Agreed? Right. So I will start with just a brief introduction of VMBS, and then I'll give you 3 simple financial tips, 3 savings paths, and 3 loans paths, and then you'd have an opportunity to do question and answers. But feel free to stop me if you have a question. As I said, today is a discussion. It's an introduction, and we can actually speak, right? What's your name, sir? Yes? Yes, Jason? We're here to talk with you today and see how best VMBS can add value to you, right? Next screen. So an overview of VMBS. We are a building society, not a bank. And we've been in existence for over 144 years. We didn't buy any years from any institution. And as I said, it's important to mention that we are a building society and not a bank in terms of a commercial bank, because we enjoy and celebrate the mutuality of our organization, in that we are owned by our members. Where originally our institution was started by clergymen, church people who came together, realized that they have the need of owning a home, but individually they were unable to purchase it. So they said, all right, let's pool our funds together and purchase the property for number 1 person, then continue to pool, and number 2, and so forth. That philosophy still exists, where at VM, our members pool their funds in order to help each other achieve their financial goals. And why it is important? Because at this moment, as a financial institution, we still boast that we have either no or low fees to process your transaction. And that's a major benefit for doing business with us, where it's not that there's not a charge to do business, but being a mutual entity where we believe that our members are our owners, some of the cost for doing business is absorbed by the business itself. So let's say, for example, for the last October of 2023 was the first time VMBS added a charge to use its multi-link ABM card. It was free all this time. And the charge to use it now is still the lowest in the market. And we'll discuss it some more. So that's just an example of us being a benefit to the persons who use our financial services, right? So that's our little story in a nutshell, in that We are a mutual company, and that is the background and the backdrop we want you to understand about us, is that our ultimate goal is to be a financial agency that does your financial transaction at the lowest cost with the best expertise available. Now, coming up through the years, we of course recognize there are different needs that our customers would have, and we want to be a one-stop shop for our members. So over time, what that did was assist us in developing a business strategy that formed different entities of VMBS. So we have the building society that you come and do your regular savings and your fixed deposits, and you'll do your loans in terms of credit cards, auto loans, mortgage, and unsecured loans. And then we have those persons who are interested in stocks and bonds, the higher risk at higher rates. We have VM Wealth Management arm that will take care of those. And of course, the genesis of VMBS would be properties. So we have VMBS Property Services, which will take care of all the property needs in terms of we would search for the property for you, we will sell your property for you, and we will also maintain the property for you. So anything in regards to property service, the VMBS Property Service entity will take care of that. And of course, one of the major activity of the financial market right now is money transfer. Being a global economy that we operate in, whether it's locally or overseas, we have the VM money transfer that have very competitive costs to transfer money. And not only competitive cost, we have several locations and options to make the process of transferring funds convenient for you, right? And finally, we have the VMBS pension, and as Shauna mentioned just now, you will complete your series in regards to a pension seminar. Of course, VMBS would want to ensure that after you've worked for your entire work life, you would want to retire in a lifestyle that is befitting. Or some person says, instead of resting in peace, you retire in peace. Right? So that is just a small synopsis of the VM group and what we have developed into over the years as a result of the needs of our members. Now, for the building society, ultimately, we want you to understand that we are a safe, secure, and convenient money management entity, in that when you come to us, you feel comfortable in knowing that, one, we have your financial goals at heart, create a financial path for you to achieve those, and ultimately, your funds are safe with us. Still having the SSL saga going on, right? We don't want you to feel uncomfortable when you come to VMBS, that your funds are being taken care of, right? So now, in terms of our purpose here today, ultimately, we want to help you to establish what financial independence is. We want you to become rich. We want to establish your financial well-being. The first point in that is that it must be defined either as a group, as a church, and or individually, because it's a personal thing. And we start by saying, what does financial well-being means to you? What would it mean to you personally to be financially independent? For me, at this moment, and it can change as you grow in life, as you go through the different life cycle, for me at this moment, being financially independent or improving on my financial well-being is ensuring that month over month, I'm able to cover my living expenses for myself and family and still have a little to put aside for the future. And that is no easy task because, as you grow, you take on additional responsibilities. In order to achieve certain things, you have to invest to grow. So therefore, that is my financial goal right now, to set things in play that, one, today I'm working, so I'm earning. I want to one day sit and continue earning. Do you understand what that means? I don't have to move up and down to be earning. And that is a serious activity right there. What does financial independence means to you, Miss Reed? And there's no wrong answer.
Same, so that I'm able to cover my bills, as well as I want to be able to deal with any unexpected occurrences.
Emergency funds.
Stuff like illnesses don't give you a notice.
Right.
Sometimes they disappear. Or a pipe doesn't say, okay, she has a lot of money now, so let me stop working. So
Yes.
for me, that's financial freedom. To be able to pay my bills and still be able to deal with any unexpected challenges that may come.
Thank you for that. Sir, what does financial well-being or being financially independent means to you personally? Okay. Retirement and investments. Miss, what does financial independence means to you? Yes. Live. Vacation. Shauna, what does financial independence means to you? Debt-free. Mr. Instrument person, what does financial independence means to you? Stephen.
Financial independence to me just means being able to spend or do as I please without having to worry about how I get managed for the rest of the month.
Thank you for that. And everybody is correct. And it goes now to my 3 financial tips. The first one is, next, knowing what your goals are. And it encompasses what we just mentioned. In order for you to get up every day and work hard and put your efforts into what you are doing, it's made easier if you have a goal that you are working towards. And that is the first financial tip that we say. In order to achieve financial freedom, you must know where you're going. Without a vision, talk to me, church. Without a vision, the people shall perish. Agreed? You have to know where you're going. And that starts by setting goals. And goals will be in terms of short term, which is up to 12 months. Medium term, 3 to 5 years. And long term, 5 years and over. So when you're asked, where do you see yourself in the next year? Where do you see yourself in the next 3 years? Where do you see yourself 5 years, 10 years from now? That intent is to ask, what are your goals? And even as Christians, everybody's a Christian, right? Right. When you just started your journey, are you the same person that you are at the beginning? Day one? Talk to me. No. What did that happen by the way, or did you had some intent or some purpose that you were working towards in terms of spiritual growth and so forth? Just the same, the financial man needs a plan in order to grow, and that's start by creating a blueprint. Now, as I said at the beginning, in regards to creating a specific financial plan, we'd actually have to speak to you on a one-on-one basis. And this is where now we're saying, all right, what is your specific goal? Generally speaking, we're familiar with the acronym SMART. Your goals should be SMART: specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. And when we speak to you on a one-on-one basis, we're not trying to reinvent any wheel. It's a formula or an approach that works. So we sit with you and see how that approach can help you to set what your goals are. Get them down in terms of writing them. And some persons will indicate that putting it up on a mirror, that when you open your eyes, it's the first thing you see. Where I'll be in the next 6 months, in the next 12 months, 3 years, and 5 years. Know what your goals are. And that will help you to be focused. Now, the second point is, remember, we know where we're going now. And in an institution, if you observe, the persons that are most motivated generally are not necessarily the highest income earners. One of the main reasons behind that is knowing what your goals are. So I can be in the operative end. I can come to the place and cleaning up every day, auxiliary staff. And my pay would be among the smallest. But I know that every time I get paid, I am putting aside some for my child's school fee that is due every August. Every time I get paid, I'm putting aside some because I'm looking to purchase some material to start my property. Every time I get up and go to work, it doesn't matter what challenges I face at work. It doesn't matter the personalities that I have to deal with at work. I am motivated to say, you know what? This is what I have to do in order to achieve my goal. And those persons generally are the highly motivated persons in an institution, the ones that are working at their personal goal. And that goal may be growth in their career as well, you know. Personal growth could be personal in terms of home and so forth, but in the organization, it could be their career goals that they're working at. And it does matter the money, you know, but it's not the priority to say, okay, if I'm not being paid properly, I am going to be discouraged and stop working. I will go to the necessary negotiating challenge to improve my income. So having your goal is very important. And when you have set your sail on your goal, focused on your goal, you then need to know what is your financial position, how your pockets stay. Now, we mentioned how we want to look at our goals in terms of medium term, long term, short term, that they're SMART goals. Now, we have gone through an exercise that has defined that. We now need to ensure that our financial position is correct in achieving those goals. It does not make any sense that I set a goal to buy a property in Cherry Gardens when financially I know I'd never be able to afford that, at least for now. So I have to look at what is my financial position, and how do you define what your financial position is? We say by doing a simple budget. Can anybody define what a budget is? No wrong answer. Miss Reed, you again. What is a budget?
I heard this somewhere once.
Mm-hmm.
A budget is telling your money where to go and not telling you where it wants to go.
Everybody heard that? Say it again for the people in the back.
A budget is telling your money where to go and not allowing it
To tell you where.
to wants.
Awesome. Thank you for that. What is a budget? Mm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Excellent. What's the budget? All correct answers. It is your financial position. And how do you establish your financial position? You do two things. One, you look at your streams of income. Now, as an average Jamaican person that didn't born in riches, you know what I mean by that, right? Not with a gold or silver spoon. It means that you have to work hard in generating income. And what we have found is that sometimes your 9 to 5 isn't sufficient. Agreed? It means that sometimes you have to now find ways of increasing your income. How do you do that? One of the easiest way is to look at what your hobbies are. What do you like to do? And get certified in those. Is Heart Free now? Is that a real thing? So it don't even have to be a hobby. It's a hobby. It can be an idea.
City and Guilds and Heart are now offering programs where, say, for example, if you're good at painting houses,
Right?
you have certification in it.
Yeah.
You can call them and they will assess you, give you something to do,
Mhm.
and based on their assessment, certify you having to go to classes. So both
Awesome.
City and Guilds,
Mm-hmm.
so both City and Guilds and Heart offers that service.
That is excellent information there that everybody should know. And personally, again, for me, one of my hobbies or interest is from I've been driving, I try to investigate what's happening with the car and how can I fix it. You know what end up happening? I can service my car now. So I don't get the training as yet from Heart, but that's a plan. But I can service my car. I can service my family member's car. Easy, and I'm not talking anything technical, changing the oil and filters and stuff. And my co-workers, you know what happened? They saw me doing that, and the female said, okay, how much you charge me to do that? And they would pay $5,000 to service, and I would charge $3,000 to service theirs. So they're saving $2,000, and I'm earning $3,000. That is just a hobby. And the same concept. Those who like to bake, those who like to, whatever you find as your talent, invest in your talent and allow it to start earning income for you. So that's one way to improve your income streams. Ultimately, the aim is to improve your financial position. So if you have more income coming in, so that allows you to improve on your ability to save towards your future. The next aspect that you'd look at, so one is the income, the next would be your expenses. So you'd want to increase your income and reduce your expenses, and that will improve your financial position, which is the second point. Again, first you need to know what your goals are, and then you need to know what your financial position is. In reducing your expenses, how can you do that? And VMBS has a famous theory: one less equals more. The idea behind that is one less indulgence, one sacrifice will save some funds that you can put aside to achieving your goals. Everything ties together. And one less does not mean that you are actually enjoying something frivolously out there with. It may mean a genuine sacrifice. Because why? You know your goal, and you're putting aside funds to achieve that goal for whatever time frame you're planning that for. So that is it. You'd list your expenses and see, how can I reduce my expenses? the first expense you must take care of is your savings. Some people always put that as last, right? But if you don't save, then how your future will become possible? For those persons who don't have a pension, I always say an advertisement on TV a long time ago where there's this gentleman at the stoplight. You ever see that? Begging funds. Worked all his life and end up at the stoplight begging money? No? Apparently he was not saving towards his future or his pension or his retirement. And he worked hard all his life. And because of not planning, he ended up on the streets. That resonated with me, that in saving towards retirement, your first paycheck, you must start putting aside at least 10%, 5%, whatever is possible. So you always prioritize your savings. Now, what was your JPS bill in 2019?
$12,000.
What is it
plus.
now?
It ranges from $12,000 to $15,000 plus.
So it was less then, right?
Pretty much the same.
Right. So when I mention savings, person's first reaction say, listen, I already adjusted my life and I don't have any space to put any money to save. However, if your essential services increase, guess what you do? You turn off the light, you turn off the water, you find it. The utilities cost 5 years ago is significantly more now, but persons still have their lights on, still have their waters on. The cost for gas to run your automobile 5 years ago is significantly higher than it is now. More persons have vehicles. They're even going towards electric cars now. And that's what we're saying, is that if you prioritize your savings, you will make the necessary sacrifice towards it. And the first step is listing the expenses and see where you can adjust accordingly. And as I said, when we go through the exercise, we will establish what your savings expense is. And when you prioritize that, it becomes the first thing you do in regards to handling your expenses. Remember what I said? As my financial independence, I want to cover my expenses and then have some to put aside. That is a specific expense that I was mentioning, because that expense is very important to not just my future, but my family's future. Right? So for your financial position, improve your income. It may mean increasing the streams of income by whatever means, and reducing your expenses. For VMBS, I mentioned it before, how do we assist our members in reducing their expenditures? Bank charges. When you look at the cost that you pay if you're using a commercial bank from January to December, have you ever checked that? It is significant. And if you multiply that by years, it becomes even more significant. And let's say an average annual bank charge is $15,000 at an institution. If you were able to save $10,000 of that, it means you have additional savings to put towards your goal that you're working towards. And that is always the ultimate plan. How can you reduce your expenses? To improve your financial position to save towards your goal. On the same page? So, point one, know what your goals are. Having short-term, medium-term, and long-term. Number two, know what your financial position is. Always try to improve your financial position. How can you do that? Increase your ability to earn income, reduce your expenses, and it creates the opportunity for you to save towards your future. Now, When you have reached that path, the final point is choose the right savings option. And that is very important. So imagine now, it's not an overnight process. It's a lot of sacrifice that you have to sit down and set your goals and sacrifice to save, to identify the money to save. So can you imagine, let's say hypothetically you identify, okay, after doing all of that, I'm able to put aside $20,000 on a monthly basis. I put that $20,000 in an account in January and don't do anything to it and go back December. What do you expect to see? Talk to me. What do you expect to see? You started with $20,000 in January. Go December, what balance are you expecting to see? Whoa. All right. In reality, more than what you placed there, right? Right? You'd want to see more than the 20,000. If you choose the wrong savings, and I'm sure a lot of persons have had that experiences, where this thing called administrative costs for owning an account, where 1,500 can come from that account monthly, and you end up, when you visit that account, to find out what? That the account is closed and your money is gone, and you probably owe the bank money. I don't hear you.
That happened to my grandmother.
There you go. That is actually a reality of a lot of persons, and that is why we're saying in this financial advice, we recommend that you choose the right savings option. Now, with VM, we say that you have in your savings portfolio 3 options. And it's not specific to VMBS, it's generally speaking. You should have one, a transactional account, a regular savings account. Everybody understand that? The purpose of that savings account is to do one thing, and it's to pass money through it. Never put the funds that you're saving towards your future goal in a regular savings account. Can anybody tell me why? 2 main reasons. Talk up easy access to the money. And as ladies, as you walk down Constant Spring Road and see that nice shoes, nice earring, and lots of food. So it is only, so you have easy access to it, and one, your money should always be working for you when you place it for a specific time. In a regular savings account, generally, there's no interest rate because the financial institution doesn't have the ability to hold it because you have unlimited access to it. So they can reinvest it to make money, to pay you money. So therefore, most times, you get 0 interest on your regular savings account. With VM, we give you an interest rate because, as I said, you are our owners, so we want your money to earn for you. So it has little to no interest rate, and you have easy access to it. With VM, again, with a regular savings account, we allow you to get an ABM card, which you can, it's a multi-link card, you can use at any machines, and the fee is the lowest in the market. We also give you the option of online banking, where you can do all forms of transactions, pay your bills, transfer from bank to bank, wire transfers, any form of transaction that will take you on your daily routine, you can use our regular savings account to do. The second savings option that you should have in your portfolio, your savings portfolio, we call it an iSave account. So remember, I established that I wasn't born with any gold spoon or anything, so I don't know about your situation. It means that in order to accumulate wealth, I have to put it aside on a consistent basis. And that is what the intent or the approach of our iSave account is. It's I am consistently saving towards my goal. It's a fixed deposit that initially is placed for 12 months. Because what was the time we set for our short-term goal? 12 months. Remember I said everything connects. So the iSave is aligned to a short-term goal in which it requires a monthly deposit. And again, we looked at persons' financial position. We know that some persons are here, and we know that some persons are here. How do we know that? You'll do a budget, your income, your expenses, and it shows your financial position. You're here, here, or here. For the iSave, what we're saying, you can start with as little as $1,000. And we believe everybody can fall into that category. To put aside every month, at the end of the 12 months, if you're not going to recoup it for a specific goal, you would just continue. And not only that, we still took into consideration that life is real and it happens. During that 12 months, your financial position may change, because we discuss it. You'll be looking at ways of increasing your income, decreasing your expenses, and improving your financial position. So let's say you started with $1,000. 3 months down the line, you realize, wow, based on my financial path, I am able to save more. So you can adjust your monthly deposit for your iSave up without a penalty or without a notice. Just come in and we'll adjust it for you. The reverse is also the same, where an emergency may occur and the amount that you had planned that you're able to put aside on a monthly basis, you're not at this moment able to continue. What we're saying is that, let's say for example you started with $10,000, something happens during the 12 months, you're able to reduce that amount down to $1,000 and continue with your savings plan. Because ultimately, the iSave is geared towards achieving your goal. We don't want you to move off your path towards saving towards your goal because an emergency occurred, but adjust your financial situation towards your savings plan. Understand? So that is why we say it's an iSave account, because it takes into consideration where you're going, what your goals are. Short term, medium term, long term. It takes into consideration your financial position, whether you're here, here, or here. And as you go up, because that's a trajectory most of the times, that as we grow older, we earn more. That as you grow older, you can adjust your iSave to increase your savings towards your goal. Right? So that's the regular savings, the iSave account, and finally, the iSave is accumulating wealth, right? You're putting aside, so your money growing now. When you have grown your lump sum from your iSave, you now can choose our iGain option. So I am saving, now I have a lump sum, that money needs to start working for me. So we have what we call our iGain accounts, which are regular fixed deposits in which you can fix lump sums for different time frames, 30 days, 90 days, 180 days at negotiated rates. And that would be your savings portfolio. 3 options, no matter where. We're not speaking about institutions. Your regular savings account, transactions. And if you're able to do salary deduction, you know you do your salary deduction, you don't have to worry about that. And then, for example, with VMBS, if you're opening your iSave account, you do a salary deduction to your regular savings account, we set a monthly standing order to your iSave account, it means you don't have to interact with the transaction anywhere at all. Remember, we started with convenience. That is convenience. All we need you to do, and that final thing that is on that is what? Anybody can tell me? Oh, sorry, it's not there. The tips. Go back to the tips for me, please. The final thing on the tips is after you've done those 3 things, what you have to do. Talk to me.
Follow your investment.
Follow your investment. Everything ties together. Now, look at the plan. We sit and we identify what your goals are. We sit and we improve your financial position through your budget, increasing your income, reducing your expenses. And we also chose the right savings path. It is important for you to manage your own portfolio. We mentioned an example since Evelyn. Do you remember that one? Guess who wasn't following their financial plan? Who? Mr. Bolt himself.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Now, if I come here and I give this speech about whatever, and it appeals to you, and you decide to go with an iSave account, right? It is important for you to, one, check that the account is working the way I said it is working. So I say, okay, yeah man, I'm going to give you an iSave and this is the interest rate that you're going to get annually. Check in. You can call in, you have online banking. Go on the account and say, is it that it started with $10,000? Is the interest rate 3%? Is it working like how I said it was working? At the end of 12 months, importantly for the iSave, did you get the interest that was communicated? Or you would also want to look in the market to see, based on the savings plan that I have, is there other options in the market that is better? Because I can tell you about a plan now, that works for you, but in the next 12 months, the market is changing every day. Is there something that, based on your lifestyle and financial position, that is better than the plan that you're in now? It is important for you to check that it is working the way you intend it to work, and also what are your other options. Follow your investments. And those 4 pointers that are there, we believe is very important in becoming financially independent. It's very important in establishing your financial well-being. Do you agree with that? And using VMBS in terms of our 3 savings option, regular savings account, the iSave account, and the iGain account, we believe will get you on the savings path to achieving financial wellness. We also have some loans option, because as I mentioned before, as time goes by, we want to be the center that serves our members. And we know that sometimes we all won't have the cash to purchase the goals that we want immediately. So it means that you'll have to take on some debt at times to achieve those. And we have the short one, the unsecured loans, that VMBS offer an unsecured loan now for 19.25%. That is a very competitive rate in the market. But of course, unsecured loans, by the nature of them, they're unsecured, meaning that you're not using any collateral to acquire this loan. The interest rate is the major benefactor to the institution. They're expensive to you. So if you don't have to take out no unsecured loan, stay away from it. 19%. Where's inflation now? Single digits. 9 point something. And you're paying a loan at almost 20%. If you go to the commercial banks, they're where? Almost up to 30. So we have the unsecured loan, and the purpose is open, where ultimately, where as you know, when you hear VMBS, you hear you think of mortgages, right? We're saying for acquiring a mortgage or a property, you need your deposit and your closing costs. You can use that unsecured loan facility to assist you in that. If you have medical emergencies, as you say, unplanned emergencies, you can access our unsecured loan facility to assist you in that. And then we have our auto loan. As I say, everybody's driving now. So we will give from 2016 up, based on the age of the car. It will determine the amount of financing and the number of years to repay. And we have arrangements with new car dealers like an ATL, Stewart's, and Magna Hyundai. And we also have our credit card facility. Again, you have to be careful in terms of choosing the debt that you are taking on. Understanding how to use a credit card is very important. Whether we accept it or not, we are almost operating in a cashless society where most transactions are online or through the plastic. Using the Visa debit and the credit card is one of those options. For the credit card, VMBS ensures that our members understand that a credit card is a 30-day loan. Now, we're going back to the financial position. Some persons believe that in improving their income, they can use a credit card. So I'm earning 100,000 per month, and I get 100,000 on a credit card. Guess what I think? I'm now earning 200,000 per month. Is a common misconception. So I increase my expenses to suit 200,000 when really and truly I actually took a loan for 100,000 that should be repaid in 30 days. If the loan is repaid in 30 days, what is the cost? 0. And if you operate the credit card that way, the only charge that will apply to you is the annual fees. And with VMBS, we have the lowest in the market. We have two types, a gold and a platinum. $6,000 per annum for the gold, $12,000 for the platinum. The gold will give you limits up to $800,000. The platinum, $800,000 and over. It's a Visa card, so you can use it locally and overseas. Now, as I said, let's be realistic. Life happens. And if it is that you're not able to repay that 30 days loan on time, and it will attract an interest. Our interest rate is 40% for the gold, 37% for the platinum, lowest in the market as well. However, as I say, you do not want to take on a loan for that amount, so you would avoid it at all costs.
Well, I look at the beneficial side, but I just want confirmation because it was a conversation I had with friends. So I have two places I purchase gas.
Yes.
One of them has it's a bit notorious for persons' accounts being hacked or scammed if you swipe at their machines. So I was having a discussion with a friend because a friend of mine, it happened to her husband at the same gas station. But she was saying that one of the reasons why they weren't so worried is because it's not his bank account that he had utilized, but his credit card, because the insurance on the credit card would cover that issue a little better than if the money was coming from the savings account. However, I had an experience with another financial institution in which they told me I did not add insurance to the credit card. Therefore, long story. So what I'm really asking is it true that when you do take out the credit card, it comes with that additional insurance more than using, say, your bank card? Or is that something you have to explore further with the institution?
So I would answer this way. Approach it as all those facilities optionally have insurance if proved that the scenario is genuine. And that process is what the real issue is in terms of time frame and the institution saying, okay, we believe that this is a fraudulent transaction, we're going to hold the fees that are continuing until a decision is made. If a decision is made and they find that they are rolling towards you absorbing the cost, it means that you'll be charged all those fees. If it is that they find that it was a genuine case and so forth, then the funds, the insurance will take care of the funds. So yes, but there's a hassle in getting that scenario or situation handled, right? So that is very important, and VMBS again has an approach that will always protect our members. And I'll share an experience in recent times that the hackers attacked our ABM machines. And anybody here is a VMBS member, by the way? Yes, Shauna. What we did was, the moment we found out, we did an investigation and we discontinued the functions of the machine. We disconnected all the cards that were handled at those machines, and then we increased the securities at those ABM machines until they were frustrated. Because what they did was they identified, no, these are not random strangers on the road. These are skilled professionals that are operating a mastermind plan. They sit and build out a business plan to scam the machines. And they have all the areas that all the machines are and how to get into the machines, because what they did before was mystery shop the machines. And what we did was, as I mentioned, instead of holding and not indicating to our customers that this is happening, we warned our customers, cancel the card. It caused a little fatigue, because imagine you have your card, and I'm talking about 3,000 cards, which come as an expense. You can be at the gas station again trying to use your VMBS card only to realize that it is declined, because we didn't get a chance to immediately tell you that, hey, this is what is happening to our cards. So we had that to manage with our relationship. But at the end of the day, our members appreciated the fact that we took action in trying to curb their onslaught on our machines, right? So we will always protect the interest of our members as well, right? So back to the credit card, we encourage you to use it appropriately. And if life happens and it goes over, the interest is charged on the balance that is owed. And you try to get rid of that as soon as possible. Shauna mentioned that you'll have a seminar about good debt and bad debt. A credit card debt is a very bad debt, and that you will try to get rid of. And again, to be honest with you, sometimes life happens and you have to do that. One of the best options to or scenarios that you will do that in is if you are using these funds to create a scenario that will earn income for you. And I give you an example. If, for example, real estate is in the market right now, that is the main number one option of investment and returns right now, correct? Safest and best. If it is that you acquire a property that is going to generate income for you, but you need to, it's a fixer-upper. You need to put on your grill, you need to pave the driveway or whatever. You can use your credit card to put that property in a position to start earning income for you. And as you start to earn income, then you get rid of that bad debt, which ultimately would be completed, and then you'd start with improving your income. Do you understand that? So if you're using that debt to generate real income, then you can look at that option. But credit card, be careful of it, right? So that's for our loans option, the unsecured loan, automobile, the credit card, and finally, I'm closing now, I know it's been a while, VMBS from day one, our major approach, our major responsibility, our major focus, our mantra is to turn our savers into consistent savings, identify your goal, and ultimately converting those savers into proud Jamaican homeowners. We want everybody to own a piece of the rock. So our prime product is mortgages. In accessing a mortgage, you can use it to purchase a property, that's a land and a house on it, a land only, or if you have a property already and you have what we call equity in that, the original amount, value of the property, and the amount that you borrowed on the property, as soon as you start repaying that loan on the property, it means that you will start having some value in that property. So let's say, for example, the property originally is valued at $10 million. You borrowed $10 million. You repay $2 million. The property is now valued at $11 million. It means you have $3 million equity or value in the property. We're saying you can use that equity for various purposes, whether it be medical emergency, purchasing another property, purchasing a car, whatever use you may use that equity for, that's an option with our mortgage product. So purchase a house, purchase land, or use your equity to acquire whatever purpose, right? Now, again, the mortgage conversation is a long one because purchasing a property is not an overnight thing, something you have to actually plan for. So that conversation, again, is individual. So what I'll do is just give 3 points in regards to an overview in accessing a mortgage. The first thing is that you need to know that you must have some funds up front. That funds will take care of 2 things. The person selling the property will need a deposit in order to secure the sale of the property. And in our market now, that amount ranges from 5 to 15% of the sale price of the property. So you have to have funds up front to pay your deposit on the property. The second thing is referred to as the closing cost. And that is really the cost to take the transaction from beginning to end. There are 3 parts to it, where once there's a sale of a property, the sale has to be registered. The cost to register the sale is borne by the person selling and the person buying. The person buying, their cost is referred to as the purchaser's half cost. So that's 1/3 of your closing cost. When you have accessed the mortgage will be registered on the title. Your name will go on the title. There's a cost to do that. So that is referred to as the mortgage registration cost. And the third and final is what we call the prepayables expenses, and that include insurance for the property, insurance for your life, the processing fee, and your first month's interest payment. And what we say, all those 3 components will never exceed 10%. So to be safe, we're saying have your closing costs of approximately 10%, have your deposit of approximately 5%. The market practice now is 5%. Reason being, I mentioned that in selling the property, the seller have to pay half and you have to pay half. Generally, the 5% that you're paying for your deposit will cover that seller's half. So they won't have to come up with any money out of pocket. So that is why 5% is a comfortable figure right now for them. So 15% is what you need up front. That's the first thing. Need some money up front. 15% is a safe bet. 5% for the deposit and 10% for your closing costs. Now, the seller is the one that determines the deposit percentage. So it means it may vary from person to person, right? The second thing is ensure you're maximizing on your NHT benefits. NHT will give $7.5 million at a maximum of 4 to 5% to an individual purchasing a house now. That same 7.5% in any private institution is ranging from 8 to 12%. Get the difference? 4% at NHT, 8 to 12% privately. That's significant savings over 40 years. So ensure that you maximize on your NHT benefit. With VMBS, we have a joint relationship with them where we would want you to just go on their online platform, confirm how much you're eligible for and the rate, and when you're ready to access the loan, we will access it for you. So you won't have to go to NHT to get it at all. So we will lend up to 95% of the sale price of the property. Because remember, you're paying 5%. So what is left is 95. So we combined with NHT to lend you that 95. How do we know that we can lend you that 95? It goes to my final point. So first, you have to have your money up front, 15%. Second, ensure you're benefiting from NHT. And third, in order to maximize on the option of accessing a mortgage, you must do what is termed as a pre-qualification. Now, if you're searching in the market for a property and you interact with someone that is selling or someone that is selling on behalf of the owner, that's a realtor or a lawyer, the first thing that they'll ask you for is your pre-qualification letter. What is that? It is basically interacting with a financial institution that is looking at your financial position and indicating, based on your salary, this is the maximum amount that you can afford. Or based on the sale price of the property that you're trying to purchase, is it that your salary can afford to purchase that property? For VM, we ask you for 3 things. Job letter addressed to VMBS, last 3 months payslip if your income is fixed monthly. If your income varies, because some persons get paid by the hour, we ask you to provide the last 12 months so we can calculate an average monthly income for you, right? So job letter, payslip, and the payment for us to pull a credit report. So anybody familiar with what a credit report is? We are now in a society that a credit report is instrumental in you qualifying for a loan in most institutions, where we have a main credit bureau operating now. It's Everydata Jamaica, where its purpose is to gather all the information on your past debt, how you managed your past debt. And it assigns a score and a rating, in that a common score now, acceptable score would be 580, and the rating would be in terms of low risk, medium risk, or high risk. And it gives details in terms of each debt, when it was initially borrowed, how it was serviced, and if it was paid as agreed. So the important thing about your credit report is to ensure that it is always reflecting your credit past or your current credit situation. In that, because it's a new philosophy or approach in the market, not all institutions are signed up to the bureau. Not all information from the financial institution is current with the bureau. And I'll give you an example. A lot of times our clients come to us to get pre-qualified. When we pull the credit report, it's at that time they're realizing that some credit card from XYZ, even though they closed it years ago, it is still open on their credit report. We have a lot of clients that at the time of doing their pre-qualification, that's when they find out. So with the credit bureau, it gives a free pull to everyone each year.
Can I share my experience?
Sure.
All right, so with my experience with that institution, what I had not known at the time, because I wasn't advised, you have to get a closing letter from the institution. And then that closing letter, once that's generated, they send it over to the credit bureau. So when it came up on my report, it's because I didn't know I needed that. But luckily, they're not too strict. They're not so archaic.
Okay.
So they understood that I wasn't aware, and they were able to get the closing letter and move forward with what I needed to do.
Right. So until the information becomes current, they'll always have to take that approach where they ask you to complete a dispute form with them, go to the financial institution, let them be aware, they prepare a letter, and then you communicate that with the bureau and also the institution that you're seeking the debt from. And
And I realize a lot of young persons, because they're not aware, they get turned off. Because when I was purchasing my vehicle, the first institution I went to, that's what happened. But they didn't explain it for me to be able to say. The lady just said, based on XYZ, you're not eligible. And I'm like, that makes sense because I'm debt free and I make enough to purchase the vehicle I want.
Right.
So I ended up having to contract a financial advisor, and it's that individual who approached other institutions, and that's how I found out that that was lingering on my credit report and was able to get rid of it. So.
Awesome. And that is why we advise now, January every year, pull the free credit report so you are aware of what it is saying. And if it is that you need to take some actions in order to clear what is there, you can take it there. So they have an online platform at everydayjamaica.com. You just go there and follow the instructions. They ask you to give your credentials in terms of TRN and take a photo, and they will respond in terms of the report. So 3 things for the mortgage. Must have some funds up front, NHT, and do your pre-qualification. And once you do those things, you have taken the first steps in acquiring your mortgages. When you go later down in the process, you would be required to get a valuation for the property. Evaluation states the current value of the property, the value if the property was being sold by force. It describes the property and the material that makes up the property, and also the state of the property, and compares properties in the same vicinity. So you would be asked to provide a valuation report by the entity. Most entity has their approved list of valuators, and you'll also be required to get a surveyor's ID report done, which looks at the boundaries of the property to ensure that there are no breaches. And then a sale agreement is done, and the receipt for the last property tax and water bill is provided, and those documents will be able to develop a mortgage application for you. The personal information, the job letter, bank statements, and the credit report will provide that additional information where we look into the mortgage process. The time frame for a mortgage will last up to 120 days for it to be disbursed. With VMBS, once we have all your documents within 14 days, we give you an approval, create an offer letter with the conditions. Once you meet the conditions and agree to the conditions, you sign that letter, and then we provide a commitment to the person selling the property and an undertaking. Once the stage of the registration, they'll take care of the registration of the mortgage again. With that is done, then the documents is resent to us, and then we pay over the money to the persons selling the property, and then they would hand over possession of the property to you. And that would complete our mortgage process. But as I said, today is just an introduction where when we sit with you on a one-on-one basis, we'll be able to dive deeply in terms of creating a financial path for you. And at this time, if you have any questions, I invite them as I close. Any questions? 5, 4, 3, 2. And in closing, any questions online? In closing, in order to become a member of VMBS, pretty simple. All we need is proof of address in the form of a utility or bank statement in your name. If you don't have that, we have a document that you can take to some persons to verify your address. That can be your pastor, doctor, lawyer, your employer, and police inspector. So proof of address, proof of income if you're working. For those who are employed to an entity, it would be your last pay slip. For self-employed persons, we have some documents that you would need to complete. ID, TRN, and the amount to open the account. So that's requirements. Proof of address, proof of income, IDTRN, and the amount to open the account. I also left my contact details at the end of the presentation. Yes. So we have the facility of us coming to you, or the convenience. Remember, we started with convenience and we're ending with convenience. If you're interested in our products, we will actually come to you to have that process done. Thank you for your time and your participation.
Thanks, Orlando. You sure I don't have any questions? I'm not sure.
Or
So-
if you do, that my email address is there as well. You could also shoot me an email and we'll take care of it from there.
So, how many persons in here have a VM account? All right, so Orlando, you know who don't have a VM account, you know? Because, how many persons here have a VM account?
There are 9 persons.
Okay,
here.
so for those who don't, we'll be talking to you.
Yes.
Krishna will come to you. You don't have to worry about say you have to come off of the hill. We'll come to you.
We
We'll
will.
find you. All right, so Orlando, thank you so much. Actually, while you were doing a presentation, somebody sent a message. So it's ironic that you said that you'll come to, because her question was, Shauna, can he come to me because I don't have the time to come into the branch. I want to open an account. So we're happy that you said that.
Definitely.
So if you know persons who are interested in opening accounts, you can let me know, provide their information to me, and I'll prepare the list and give it to Orlando, because we are about building our wealth. So it is important that we open these accounts. I save, and we know we're going to targeted savings, right, guys? I save for home, I save for other things. So we're doing save. Every little make a muckle. Correct? All right, so where will we be next week? Let me say, Shana, you have to go get one prize. We have to go get a prize next week, and Shana just on the ball. So yes, we'll be at Barbican Baptist Church next week, same 5 p.m. If it is that you're in the Half a Tree area and you need a ride up to Barbican, reach out to myself or Stephen. Let us know, and we'll see if we can coordinate a drive for you up to Barbican. So we will start at 5 o'clock, or we will be discussing investments. So come out, so we know the budgeting and saving, so we know we're going to budget to invest. So we're going to learn how to invest. So I'm inviting you all to come out. Those online, I'm inviting you to come to Barbican Baptist Church. And for those who want to share the link, you can go to Casabaya's YouTube page and share the presentation from today. So thank you everyone for coming. I just ask that we stand and just close in prayer. Lord, we thank you. We thank you that you are an awesome God. We thank you for the opportunity that you have presented before us to learn how to manage your finances. So God, as we leave here learning the importance of budgeting and saving, that this will be a stepping stone to the right direction. So Father God, impress on us to keep at it. Impress on us to make wise decisions. But even more so, God, impress on us to take good care of what you have blessed us with. Lord, we thank you for Orlando's presentation today, God, and we pray that you continue to bless him, enlarge his territory, God. We release even more opportunities for him to surpass his targets. So, God, as we leave here, we pray for journeying mercies. We pray that you cover every household represented here today and every church. In your name I pray. Amen. Have a great evening, everyone.